Ladies and gentlemen, Barry C here with another cryptocurrency video, and XRP is ready to skyrocket. The market is turning around slowly but surely, and this is exactly what we saw in October of 2024, heading into November, when XRP absolutely went parabolic and started to lead the way and essentially kicked off the start, that first leg up of the bull run. We saw the market kind of claw its way slowly but surely until the momentum, it built and it built and it built, and then suddenly there was no stopping it. And that's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing the market slowly claw back, and it'll be sort of incremental. It'll be bit by bit. But then after a short while, that momentum will start rallying, and we're going to see that second leg up of the bull run, what everybody knows as the alt season. Now, what's interesting, ladies and gents, and what I find fascinating is that, for 3.5 years, all we heard was that XRP was dead, XRP is going nowhere, that a lot of people even kind of started pushing this narrative of, well, maybe the bull run won't happen the way we thought it would, because why would you... I actually had these kind of arguments with people where they would say, well, we can't make any assumptions that there's going to be a bull run based on how the market's performed since 2016 till now, which was absolutely ridiculous. And all those people who were trying to push these negative narratives, whether it was about XRP, whether it was about the bull run, whether it was about how the bull run was going to unfold, they all disappeared, because having time in crypto is the most valuable thing you can have. Because, for me, I've been in crypto since 2016. I was there in 2017 when XRP first came onto the scene. And I've seen the way the market has unfolded through 2 bull runs. I would even say I was there for the first proper bull run and proper bear market, because nobody has ever seen a bear market before until we got to 2018. Now, this was all a rapid learning experience because there was no experts back then. There was nobody that had seen the volatility of an alt season. There's nobody who had seen the volatility of a bear market. No one expected the market to crash at the level that it did in 2018. And then to get through that and have the conviction to hold and go, okay, well, I've found really valuable projects like XRP. And even though the market has crashed over 50%, you're taking a chance and you're willing to hold because you want to see what happens. And then to hold through another 3.5 years until you get the next Bitcoin halving event, that was all really difficult. But the best thing about that is that it gave you a foundation to where we are right now. And so, for 3.5 years, when I first started becoming a content creator, all I heard was market is dead, XRP is dead, XRP is never going back above $1. And for me, I'm going, well, I've been through 2 bull runs, I've been through 2 bear markets, and typically we've seen the bull run start kicking in October and November after the Bitcoin halving event. And so for me, when I first started making content about XRP and where I thought the market was going, I was saying, hey, October and November 2024, that's what I'm working towards. That's what my accumulation strategy is all about. That's what I'm looking at as the start of the volatility. And as you can imagine, I was told I was wrong so many times in so many different colorful ways. And then sure enough, we get to October heading into November, and suddenly XRP is going crazy. It's leading the way along with HBAR. And that's another crypto I talked about at length on both my YouTube channel, on X, and even with my Patreons. I talked about HBAR as well, and suddenly these 2 cryptos, but in particular XRP, is absolutely leading the way. And the main sentiment from people was, well, I wish I'd done things differently, or I wish I'd bought more XRP. Or in some instances, people were saying, I wish I'd bought XRP in the first place. And all that negativity just disappeared. All those people who said with complete conviction and determination that XRP was dead and that the market wasn't going anywhere, and that you couldn't base your strategies or your plans around how the market's performed in the past, all those so-called expert opinions, those people just disappeared. And all their followers were absolutely wrecked. And those people have only come back now because the market started dipping. And now they're like, see, I told you the market's dipping. And the reason why I'm highlighting this is because we're going to see this play out again. The alt season is going to take off very soon. And XRP is going to get its second leg up. And, once again, I've been here talking about XRP. I've been talking about having a plan. I've been talking about having flexibility and pivoting and using the last couple of months as an opportunity to either continue accumulating or just hold. Once again, don't give in to the negativity. Don't give in to people who are pushing this narrative that there's not going to be an alt season, because the same thing will happen in the next couple of months that happened in November of 2024. People are going to sit there at the height of an alt season. We're going to see XRP go to $3, then $5, then $10, then $20. And when XRPs become a lot more expensive, all the same narratives will now come out where people will sit there at the height of a $10 or $20 XRP and they'll say, oh, I wish I'd done things differently. Oh, XRP surprised us. Or in some instances, those people just, once again, they disappear. And those people will come back once the bear market comes around. But the main people who suffer are the people who listen to these ridiculous opinions. They listen to the stupidity. And these people get suckered in all the time. And then unfortunately what happens is that people then kind of round trip their crypto experience. They make what I call the 4-year mistake. And unfortunately right now, crypto is a 4-year kind of cycle experience. That's the best way I can put it. Right now crypto is tied to the Bitcoin halving, the post-halving bull run. After the bull run, we get the alt season. Then after the alt season, we see a dip. And then for 3.5 years, we get a bear market. Then we get a Bitcoin halving event. Then we get the post-halving bull run, and so on and so forth. And that's where cryptos are tied right now. That will change with XRP when we start talking about utility runs. But until that happens, we get a small window of opportunity every 4 years where we see such extreme volatility that the alt season becomes legendary. And that's what every single person wants out of crypto. Nobody got into crypto saying, I can't wait to hold for 3.5 years, where the cryptos I'm looking at don't make any progress and I don't make any money. Everybody is buying into crypto with the hopes of getting a really volatile, amazing alt season. I knew that back in 2017 when XRP was 0.006 cents a coin. I was looking at the number one crypto in finance going, I can buy this for less than 1 cent a coin. And then a year later, it's now worth $3.80. That is a insane level of parabolic price movement. That is a type of volatility that put alt seasons on the map, and then suddenly everybody wanted in. And then people weren't ready for the 3.5-year dip. Same thing happened in 2021. XRP had traded from 10 cents and went to 19 cents and $1.65, $1.80. Even with the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit to go from 10 cents to over $1.65 and hit $1.80, that's still a remarkable return on initial investment, and people FOMO'd in. The amount of people who bought into XRP in 2021 only to watch it tank for 3.5 years in the bear market, and then they got frustrated. And the whole reasoning and kind of mentality behind that, whether people want to admit it or not, is that people will FOMO in because the price of a crypto starts getting really exciting and the hype around it gets crazy. We saw this happen in November 2024. People won't buy XRP at 1 cent, 10 cents, or 30 cents or 50 cents. But you better believe once it gets to $1, $2, people want in. But where people kind of find that frustration or that type of investment failure, I would say, is that people get in at the height of the hype, at the height of the FOMO. Instead of getting the 1 cent XRP, now they will pay $1 or $2. Now they're in, and then they sit back and go, okay, cool, I've made the decision to get into XRP. I'm now ready for my 100X. And what they don't realize is that, to go from 1 cent or less than 1 cent to over $3, that's easily a 100x. To go from 10 cents to over $1, that is easily 10x, 50x, 100x. To go from 30 cents to almost $3, there you go, there's your 10x. And we haven't even had an alt season yet. We don't know how parabolic XRP is going to go. But if you buy at the top, you're not going to get an additional 100x or an additional 50x on top of what's already happened with XRP. And so then unfortunately, once the bear market kicks in, people haven't made any profit on their initial investment. Now they have to sit for 3.5 years. And whether they're willing to hold and see what happens, that's another story. But that's how you get the extreme negativities, and people turn around and go, well, I didn't get into crypto to now wait 3.5 years to then make some money on my initial investment. They want it to be quick, 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 quick. And from someone who's been in crypto since 2016, I mean, look, there's still cryptos I hold from back then that I haven't sold because I haven't reached price points that I'm willing to take profits out of. But when I have built and grown my XRP bags, you know, when November 2024 came around and it started moving rapidly, I was in a position where I could take profits, despite people's frustrations going, no, you shouldn't take profits. You should wait for $100. And I'm like, well, I've built my bags in a way that I can actually take profits without compromising my short-term, mid-term, long-term XRP take profit strategies and my holdings. And that comes from experience of not taking profits and always regretting it afterwards. And yes, there's been other cryptos I've taken profits out of, but I've always had a plan. I've always had a short-term, mid-term, long-term plan. My plan and my strategies have always been around how the bull run bear markets have played out since 2016 till now. And I also have flexibility within that plan because, as we saw in 2024 heading into 2025, the alt season hasn't played out the way it has previously. And a lot of people have gotten frustrated. And look, I've been frustrated, of course. I would have loved if we got to March, April, and May and we saw everything go parabolic and we started to see a double-digit XRP. Of course I wanted that. But the fact that we didn't have that made me have to take a step back and go, okay, where's the market going? What could potentially happen over the next couple of months? Am I in the best position possible to actually make some life-changing profits, or could I do more? Have I exhausted all my resources? Do I just have to hold? Like, these are all the questions I'm asking myself instead of getting frustrated, instead of making panicked decisions or making decisions that I will regret over the next couple of months. I'm focusing on my plan. Is it the best plan I've got? Could I improve it in any way, shape, or form? And if the answer is yes, I can improve it, I work on that. If I don't have the resources to work on that, then it's just about holding and being patient. And ladies and gents, you know, once again, this is all based on mistakes I've made when I first got into crypto. You know, I had to build this mindset and build this plan and my strategies when there was no one around to help guide. You know, you had to kind of go through it yourself. And I remember, you know, when I first discovered XRP, you know, there's something very special about this crypto. It was the first finance-based crypto to ever exist. And it was worth less than 1 cent a coin. And I remember thinking, well, how could something this unique and amazing be so cheap? But then you combine that with the fact that you had everybody saying, don't buy it because it's a banker's coin. Because any crypto that wanted to work within regulation or legislation, well, that's a bad thing. And these are all the so-called experts back then. And I've had this happen with, you know, numerous other projects as well. When you discover these really unique cryptos and they come out and then there's no one really around who has done the research or who understands just how amazing this or unique this project could be until kind of after the fact when the crypto has moved in price. And the reason why I highlight this is because this is what's going to happen again. When the alt season finally kicks in and we start seeing XRP hitting new explosive prices, that's when people are going to start turning around and going, oh, it is a really great project. But it's the great project that people could have got into at 30 cents or 50 cents or $1 or $2. But now people are paying $10, maybe even more. And the exact same thing is going to happen when a utility run kicks in. When one bank announces that they're using XRP, that's when you start seeing like $100, maybe $1,000, maybe even more per XRP. And that's an entirely different discussion to have. But once again, like, people will FOMO in after the fact. People will happily pay $100 or $1,000 or maybe more for XRP, but they're not going to pay $1 or $2 or $3. And that's just been the way it is in crypto since 2016 till now. And so that's why I hope over the last couple of months, like people have either just held or, not financial advice, but, what I've been doing is building and growing my bags and working on putting myself in the best position possible. So when the volatility of the alt season happens, then I can actually take some profits. And, having a strategy in place. So when I am taking profits, I'm not compromising my midterm and long-term bags, especially when it comes to XRP. Because XRP is the crypto that has the potential of both an alt season rally and a utility run rally. And I don't want to compromise my long-term holdings by taking too much profit now, if that makes sense, by compromising my bags. That's why I've spent this time building and growing and making sure that I have a long-term XRP bag. So when we do see prices like $100 or $1,000, I'm in that position. I'm in that best position possible to make life-changing profits. But I'm also in a position short-term, so over the next couple of months, mid-term, within the next year or two, to make profits with XRP as well. And that's the type of strategy I've built over years and years and years. And if you have that sort of strategy, great. Everyone's in a different position. So you have to make sure you have a plan that works for you, because at the end of the day, you have to be accountable to yourself. So that's why it's so important, have a plan, have a strategy, have your short-term, mid-term, long-term take profit points. So when XRP starts rallying, every single person listening, not financial advice, but I hope each and every one of us are in the best position possible to make life-changing gains and profits with XRP and any other crypto that you may be holding. Now, as I stated, ladies and gents, none of this is financial advice. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And if you're curious about the cryptos I hold outside of XRP, consider becoming a Patreon. Click the link in the description below, head across to my Patreon page, and consider becoming a Barry C VIP. There you'll have access to all my cryptos I hold, as well as my buy, sell, and take profit signals in real time.